words of our Divine Mother from the book The Sunlit Path. These are the passages which are from the conversations and the writings of our Divine Mother. Page 24. Topic: Yoga is effected through offering. Our Divine Mother says, Yoga means union with the Divine, and the union is effected through offering. It is founded on the offering of yourself to the Divine. In the beginning, you start by making this offering in a general way, as though once for all, and you say, I am the servant of the Divine. My life is given absolutely to the Divine. All my efforts are for the realization of the Divine life. But that is only the first step, for that is not sufficient. When the resolution has been taken and when you have decided that the whole of your life shall be given to the Divine, you have still at every moment to remember it and carry it out in all the details of your existence. You must feel at every step that you belong to the Divine. You must have the constant experience that in whatever you think or do it always with the Divine consciousness that is acting through you. You have no longer anything that you can call your own. You feel everything as coming from the Divine, and you have to offer it back to its source. When you realize that, then even the smallest thing to which you do not usually pay much attention or care ceases to be trivial and significant. It becomes full of meaning and it opens a vast horizon beyond. This is what you have to do to carry out your general offering in detailed offerings. Live constantly in the presence of the Divine. Live in the feeling that it is this presence which moves you and is doing everything you do. Offer all your moments to it, not only your mental action, your thought, every thought and feeling, but even the most ordinary and external actions, such as eating. When you eat, you must feel that it is the Divine who is eating through you. When you can thus gather all your moments into one life, then you have in you unity instead of division. No longer is one part of your nature given to the Divine while the rest remains in its ordinary ways, engrossed in ordinary things. Your entire life is taken up and integral transformation is gradually realized in you. In the integral yoga, the integral life, down even to the smallest detail, has to be transformed to be divinized. There is nothing here that is insignificant, nothing that is indifferent. You cannot say, when I am meditating, reading philosophy, or listening to these conversations, I will be in this condition of an opening towards the light and call for it. But when I go out for walk to see the friends, or if I can allow myself to forget all about it. To persist in this attitude means that you will remain untransformed and never have the true union. Always you will be divided. You will have at the best only the glimpses of this greater life. For although certain experiences and realizations may come to you in meditation or in your inner consciousness, your body and your outer life will remain unchanged. An inner illumination that does not take any note of the body and the outer life is of no great use, for it leaves the world as it is. Next topic: empty contemplation. Our Divine Mother says, I have never seen people who have left everything in order to go and sit down in a more or less empty contemplation, for it is more or less empty. I've never seen such people making any progress, or in any case, their progress is very trifling. I have seen persons who have had no pretensions of doing yoga, who are simply filled with enthusiasm by the idea of terrestrial transformation and of the descent of the Divine into the world, who did very little bit of work with that enthusiasm in the heart, giving themselves wholly without reserve, without any selfish idea of a personal salvation. These I have seen making magnificent progress, truly magnificent, and sometimes they are wonderful. I have seen sannyasis, I have seen people who live in monasteries, I have seen people who profess to be yogis. Well, I would not exchange one of the others for a dozen such people. It is not by running away from the world that you will change it. It is by working there, modestly, humbly, with a fire in the heart, something that burns like an offering. Outer discipline. Question. But doesn't some outer discipline help? For this, our mother says, if you impose a discipline upon yourself, and if it isn't too stupid, it may help you. A discipline, I tell you, disciplines, tapasyas, all the ascetic disciplines are as an ordinarily practiced the best means of making you proud of, building you up in some terrific pride that you never you will be converted. It will have to be broken down with hammer strokes. The first condition is a healthy humility which makes you realize that unless you're sustained, nourished, helped, enlightened, guided by the divine, you're nothing at all. There, now, when you have felt, not only understood it with your mind, but felt it down to your very body, then you will begin to be wise, but not otherwise. Next topic, someone who knows very little. Our Divine Mother says, it is not necessarily someone with experience who's most advanced. He lacks an element of simplicity, modesty, and the plasticity that comes from the fact that one is not yet totally developed. As one grows, something crystallizes in the head. It gets more and more fixed unless you try very hard. You finish by becoming fossilized. This is what usually happens to people, particularly those who have tried to for some realization and succeed, or those who have come to believe that they have reached the goal. In any case, it was their personal goal. They have reached it, they have attained it, it is done, they remain there. They settle down there, they say that's it, and they do no more anything. So, after that, they are, or they may live 10 more years, or 20 or 30, and they will not budge. They are there, they're still there. Such people lack the suppleness of stuffs that's necessary for going further and progressing. They are stuck. There are many other good objects to be put in the museum but not doing work. They are like samples of the show, what can be done, but they are not the stuff to do more. For me personally, I admit I prefer for any of my work someone who knows very little, has not labored too much, but who has a very great deal of aspiration, a great goodwill, who feels in himself this flame, this need of progressing. He may know very little, may have realized still less, but if he has that within him, it is a good stuff with which one can go far, much further. Next topic, open yourself, be modest. Our Divine Mother says what you should do is to throw the doors of your being wide open to the divine. The moment you conceal something, you step straight into falsehood. The least suppression on your part pulls you immediately down into unconsciousness. If you want to be fully conscious, be always in front of the truth. Completely open yourself. Try your utmost to let it see deep inside you, into every corner of your being. That alone will bring you into the light, consciousness, and all that is more true. Be absolutely modest, that is to say, know the distance between what you are and what is to be, not allowing the crude physical mentality to think that it knows when it does not, that it can judge when it cannot. Modesty implies that the giving up of yourself to the divine wholeheartedly, asking for help, and by submission, winning the freedom and the absence of responsibility which imparts to the mind quiet, utter quietness. Not otherwise can you hope to attain the union with the divine consciousness and the divine will.